Thank you so much. I think that might have been Lena here on the phone. Thank you. Really excited to share some time with you. And there is a lot of information to share. So I want to go ahead and get started here. So first, let me just make sure that you can see my screen. So just in 1 second here, you should be able to see my screen. Can everybody see? You can let me know in the chat. Yes, thank you. Excellent. So Paragon One, for those of you who don't know, is a career coaching and a remote externship company. So we are based out of New York City, and we are a team of leaders who are helping young people develop the important skills and experiences that we know are necessary to really launch their career. Matt and Byron are co-founders, and they've been working on this for several years, and Megan and I have joined as the operations team. Matt has a background in finance. Byron is in engineering. Megan's joining us from a corporate consulting background, and my background is higher education, specifically in career development. So I always find that it's helpful to see us and know who is behind this, and just know that over the past several years, we've been working to create a career coaching platform. And it's through the career coaching that we learned that so many of our students, 80% of our students are international students, 20% are domestic here in the United States. And as we were helping them get into finance careers, consulting, get into entry-level and roles and internships, we found that they didn't have a lot of experience in those areas. And what we learned is that with our technology and our platform, we were able to provide remote externships because of the network with companies we had developed and the work we had already done with students. So as we approach this work, we're really focused on preparing students for a global economy faster, not only through coaching them and motivating them, but also by providing them the experiences to do that, to win those work experiences and build their skills while in school. So again, at the core of the externships, even in our coaching and our career simulations, we're really focused on working with students, taking them where they are, helping them discover themselves, discover new skills, develop those skills, and helping them launch whatever the next step in their journey is. It could be college, it could be an internship, or even a full-time job. And just quickly, want to share a little bit about how we do these. No matter what we're working on, at Paragon One, we are putting ourselves right in between companies and opportunities and the students. So we really see ourselves as a conduit and really the middleman between the students who want the skills and the experience. They want these opportunities, and the companies have them, they can provide them, but there's an important piece of the puzzle, and it's connecting those two, and Paragon One sits right in the middle of that. As we get started here, I want to just talk a little bit about some of the top skills in 2020. And as you can see here, there are a couple skills that are listed on the side here. And I would love for all of you to share with me, what are some other skills that you would add to this? So if you can use the chat bar here, right? So we're gonna take some time to engage back and forth over the next couple of slides. So can you share with all of us here on the webinar, what are other important skills that you think should be on this list? Because we're going to talk about these a little bit more. But what are some of the skills, soft skills, you feel should also be on this list? Among some of the top ranked skills that we have are creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. So in the chat here, we've got strong work ethic, innovation, which are great. And I think that a lot of these soft skills play off of one another, right? Whether it is persuasion and collaboration or emotional intelligence and creativity, a lot of these things really take the other, or there are overlaps in how you actually operationalize that skill. Leadership, problem solving, yes. Flexibility, yes. And what I love about all of these skills is how people learn them. A lot of these takes someone with experience, a mentor, a coach, a teacher, helping you explore. Because the thing is for young people, they don't know what they don't know. Growth mindset, that's great. Organization, thank you for sharing. Those are all great skills. And especially with something like growth mindset, young people, and even us, we fall into this bucket too. There are things we don't know that we don't know. And it takes somebody showing us that thing that we don't know, so it becomes something we do know. And that it turns from something that we don't know to something that we know we don't know. So then the next step is learning that thing so that you do know what you know, and then you continue to explore that. In each of these areas is an example of that. And there's a couple pieces here that I wanted to touch upon, because all of us here know that technical skills and hard skills that we'll talk about in a minute are very important and are often the difference in making a resume stand out or a college application stand out. But the soft skills are really what completes the package. Often recruiters or admissions offices are looking for soft skills secondarily, right? But I think that more and more we're noticing a shift. More and more we're noticing that recruiters and companies are first screening and looking for soft skills. Because something that we do know is true is that the company will train you to do the technical work. It is much harder to train soft skills. It is much easier to train technical skills. So let's talk a little bit more about these soft skills. So we've got creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, emotional intelligence. The interesting thing here is 4 out of the 5 are the same top soft skills as in 2019. Did you know that? The only new skill is emotional intelligence. And I think that a part of that is because of all of the machine learning and artificial intelligence that we have been experiencing across the globe in the past, I would say even 2 years. Companies, there are tons of new tech companies, corporate companies that are integrating artificial intelligence and machine learning into their company. And that has shown people the importance of emotional intelligence. So the more artificial intelligence that we see on the rise, I believe, and I think that my colleagues at Paragon One would agree, that we are only going to see more in an equal need of emotional intelligence, because the soft skills are just as important, if not as important, as the technical and hard skills. And we'll talk about this in a minute. What I love about this is each one of these top soft skills and the skills you're mentioning, storytelling, organization, growth mindset, flexibility, autonomy, those are skills that are part of our remote externship program. So now let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about some hard skills. In addition to the list you see here, or maybe in the work that you're doing, or in the work that you do with your students, because you know your students and you know what they want to be, you know what they want to go to school for. What are some of the technical and hard skills that you see students aspiring to achieve or that they need to attain to be successful in their future college career and job search? So just like you shared some of the soft skills here, if you could go ahead and share some technical skills, because we're going to talk about this a little bit more and unpack these hard skills as well. The previous resources came from LinkedIn Learning, and you'd be able to find those as well. And would love to know what some of your thoughts are about hard skills here. I know a lot of us might work in education, so you know, we may not necessarily use a lot of cloud computing or artificial intelligence and machine learning because that's not our trade. But what we do know are what people are interested in. So we got statistical analysis, absolutely, great one. Hmm. Okay, yeah, Microsoft, yeah, absolutely. I think what's really great about that is people underestimate things like Microsoft Excel or Access, right? Um, so programming, yeah, programming can be a lot of things. So yeah, these are great. Web development, very good. So these may be things that you are interested in, right? And I think that's great. What I think is really important about these apps, okay, yeah, there are a lot of different kinds of apps. So that, you could really break that down in a lot of different ways too. The interesting thing I think about these hard skills is that so many of them are highly technical and nuanced, right? So if you're going to go into cloud computing, that is super nuanced, and that might be one of the only things you do and things you study. I think the same is true for scientific computing, right? I think people who get into blockchain have a lot of other tangential interests. Um, but these are pretty parochial for the most part, right? These are pretty narrow. Um, and I think that what we're talking about here definitely is relevant for a lot of different people. I see some questions about if this was meant for students or not. I think absolutely, yeah. So what we're talking about now are some of the top skills, right? We're identifying some of the hard skills that colleges are looking for, admissions officers are looking for, recruiters are looking for. These are global skill sets that we are referring to here. Um, uh, I'll try to get to some of these questions here. I want to make sure that we get through everything. So we'll try to come back to blockchain here. So thank you for all the questions. I do want to touch on a few things here just to unpack this a little more. As I mentioned, a lot of these are highly technical, right? But just as we talked before, that given the innovation, given the development of all of the industries across the world, no matter whether it is tech or finance or engineering or research, we're seeing skills appear higher on lists that require human-to-human interaction. And business analytics is, I think, an example of that, where you're taking some pretty core and fundamental processes, but you're also thinking about organizational development, things like psychology, these skills that require an understanding of people. You're starting to see those creep a little higher on the list. You're exactly right. UX is user experience. And that is another example of exactly what I'm mentioning. Is user experience is about people. It's about how people use websites and how they engage with apps and what they think and their psychology. So just like and from last year, business analytics went from 16 to 6. And user experience and user design is already in the top 10, right? So just like we talked about with soft skills, we're noticing a little bit of a shift in hard skills, right? Because these skills require people, they require arts, they're marketing, the marketing and sales. These require other people, and these skills like emotional intelligence and creativity and collaboration. You need all of these things to maximize your top hard skills as well. And when we're thinking about how do you get these skills? How do you gain these things, right? We just talked about, you know, as a young person, right? I was a young person once, and there were so many things I didn't know, but I was ambitious and hungry and I wanted to learn. And for me, I actually, throughout my degrees, I had 5 internships and externships. And what we do here at Paragon One is we make it easy to win these experiences and gain the skills faster. In fact, we believe that it's 10 times faster through a remote externship with Paragon One than what you would be able to do yourself or, you know, with your own network, right? These externships are opportunities to gain real experience, build skills. You're working with real companies. We're going to talk about these in a minute. You'll be able to learn about your career, and it's remote, so you could do it anywhere, and it's also available for credit. There are a lot of different ways that you can get experience. Sometimes people call them internships or co-ops. Our externships are 8 weeks long, and they're part-time, which means it's about 10 hours a week for 8 weeks. And here are some of the different pieces of our externship program. Of course, students want to do externships to learn skills and to get experience, to put it on a resume or LinkedIn, CV. But there are also digital certificates. There are also letters of recommendation, LinkedIn recommendations, and additional one-on-one time you can get with co-founders and partners of finance firms that you can receive and be rewarded for excellent and outstanding work. Now, because this is a remote externship, half of this program is online. We have a whole system. We call it our worker platform, where you do the work, and we'll show that in a minute. We'll talk about that. But the other half of this are the humans, the people who make this possible and can engage you. Those are the companies who offer webinars in weekly time to connect with you. You'll be able to connect with peers, other students doing an externship. And you'll also have the support and guidance of an extern manager to support you, answer your questions, and review your work each week as you move along your program. Here's a quick example of what some of these externships can be. We focus on strategy and finance, things like investing, entrepreneurship, and consulting. And again, you can see here that they're 8 weeks long, and in week 1, you're going to get acclimated to the worker platform. You're going to start to learn about your internship and learn high-level skills. And then we'll break it down into multiple other projects for you to complete along the way. And then as you work your way through the externship, you will be analyzing some of the research you've done, and you'll put together a capstone project and presentation that you'll submit in your last week. I see a couple questions here. Yes, I do believe the webinar is being recorded, so we'll get that out to you after the webinar. And can students with any studies background attend the externship? That's a great question. Yes. So let me actually go back to this slide here. So remember that you are looking to do an externship to learn something new. So even if you don't have a lot of prior experience in something like marketing, you could still do a marketing externship. Or maybe you know that you want to major in finance or you want to start a career in finance. You can do an externship that is a venture capital externship or private equity externship. You can still do that. So no matter what your interests are or what you are studying now, you can participate in an externship. And here's just a quick way for you to think about the externship platform. It's an example of how we'll track your progress. We'll be able to help you understand along the way, how much work have you done? How much further do you have to go? What have you completed and what do you need to complete? There's a lot of online training that is provided by our company, but also you'll see here online mentorship from your participating host company. Just to go back to the original question, yeah, absolutely. Individuals from backgrounds like psychology can do this as well, because as we talked about, psychology can be a part of sales and business. Psychology can be a part of marketing. The one thing that we talk a lot about in something like our finance externships is the importance in understanding and connecting with people. Okay, so I think that if you have an interest in psychology, you could definitely do this. Chances are our marketing externships are going to be the best ones for you. Yeah, I see some questions here around externships and internships. Generally, internships are when you're going into a company, right? And you're actually in person. And as we all know, we are in a very remote and digital world, especially now. And this program, even before COVID-19, we were working on this, and it was designed to be completely remote. We are a technology-enabled company, so everything we do, one-on-one coaching, our project-based learning courses, and our remote externships are completely online. And it's experiential learning. So you're learning as you're doing this, okay? You are gaining the skills, learning about your career, right? And I think it's really great. There are a lot of people who are interested in psychology mentioning in the chat. That's excellent. And what I'd love to do is come back to that and actually talk about what this looks like for students. So right now we are able to work with GEM students at a discounted fee. So if you are a non-GEM student on the call here, or if you are a career counselor on this call that is not a GEMS affiliated institution, then the cohort size is for 25 students, and that would be $375 per student. And for GEM students, there is a discount because of the partnership with GEMS and My Path to Uni. We are able to offer the GEMS cohort at a discounted rate, and there is an additional add-on for career coaching. So I did see a cost here. So there are a lot of different ways to engage with this. And if you would like the add-on of coaching, that's 4 sessions, 4-hour sessions. So that's 4 hours of time with a dedicated career coach and an industry advisor. The one thing I want to share is a little bit of a case study about one of our programs. As an example, this is our externship with Holland IQ. That is a global consulting firm. And then they worked with us to do a cross-border externship analyzing startups in the HR and talent sector. So we had students both from the United States and China do research on HR and talent tech companies in their respective countries. So these students did research and they analyzed the individual companies. There was a lot of data that they gathered on individual companies. And what they did is they analyzed that and put together an analysis report and presentation for Holland IQ. So they put together a PowerPoint and they did video recorded presentations as well, where they summarized the findings and the learnings about their work, because every student looked at different companies. And of course, companies in the US are different than companies in China because there are different needs. And they were able to find really unique trends that are happening in each country. Again, here's an example of what the platform looks like. You can see the internship overview that has a lot of direction and instruction to guide you along your externship. And there's also videos from extern managers and host companies as well. So that is the end of the presentation here. I know there were several questions, and if you have new questions now, please feel free to ask. But I'm going to take a minute to go back through some questions and answer them. So I first want to skip back to our slides about skills, and I want to go right here. There was lots of interest about students who are interested in psychology. And first and foremost, I think it's really important to realize that psychology is many things, and psychology is a part of many careers. There could be educational psychology. There could be psychology as it relates to marketing, right? As we talked about before, a big part of user design and user experience is psychology. Actually, one of my students that I worked with at Paragon One was a computer science major and a psychology minor. And he got a job working as a consultant, doing a coding and user design and user experience. And so what I want to focus on here is that, it's less about your future career, and it really is more about the skills. In each of the remote externships, these are skills that you will focus on, and you can figure out, well, how does this relate to psychology? How might this relate to business? And if you look down here, right, in psychology, it's different. Psychology is more of a human science. So it's less technical, but there are still many pieces of our remote externships that you'll be able to learn that are a little more technical, that do help you organize your thoughts and think about how to generate an output and generate results. There's a good question here about talking about how to apply for the externships. So what we are doing now, what we will do after the webinar is we will share out links. Right now, there are some externships that are available. So after this webinar, we will be emailing a follow-up with a unique link for you to apply for an externship. And we also would like you to think about talking to some of your peers and getting them to join you, because you are able to do this with others, right? And you can work together and learn and discover how to do this work together. It's a good question. Is it possible to show my hard skills through achievement? How do you show the soft skills we have when we create a CV or go on an interview? That's a great question. So thank you so much for asking that. And that is something that is definitely tricky. I'm just going to scroll down here to this placeholder. The way you do that is by making sure that your documents represent who you are most. Everyone has different skills and different values. right? And it's important to infuse those in your application materials. And it is very important to use intentional words. So there are ways that you can use a language to elevate your applications that in a way that does showcase your soft skills. So if you are writing an essay or writing a bullet on your resume, it's going to be important to be thoughtful around how you present that. Sometimes students present too many hard facts and hard skills, and they don't show enough empathy in collaboration. So for every bullet that you put about a result or that you quantify your experience, it's also important to put bullets and phrases about the work that you do with others, with your manager, your teachers, in the things you learn, and the soft skills that you've learned. You're welcome. I hope that was helpful. So again, we will send emails out to you that you can use to apply here. So no matter whether you are still an underclassman or if you're graduating, I see that there are a couple different folks here who might be older. You're still going to be able to take advantage of this, okay? So what we'll do is we will share this information and a link for you to get started, and then you'll be able to go ahead and make that commitment, apply for the externship, and so we can receive your information, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get you started. There are lots of great questions here today. We've got a couple minutes left. Are there any other questions? I'm happy to answer any other questions, or if there's anything in the presentation you'd like to review, I'd be happy to do that. So there's a question here. When you apply for a job, you are asked about your experience. However, looks like Saraswati just graduated from high school. Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's why we have programs like this, is because, and I have faced this as well. When you start the job search, they want you to have hard skills and they want you to have experience, right? But you're just starting in the job market. So it's important to do a couple of things. One, of course, it's important to do extracurricular things like externships to gain those skills and experiences. There are other things that we call passion projects that we encourage people to do, and it's not even something that just young people should do. It's something that everyone should do. I have my own passion projects, and I myself am enrolled in a coaching program myself. I have an executive coach who helps me and coaches me. Because just like you, I want to learn and grow and learn new things. So there are a lot of ways for you to get experience, and this is one of them. And you'll be able to put this on your resume, and you'll be able to talk about this and how it relates to the job that you're looking to get. There's a question regarding students learning valuable skills and gaining experience. Does this involve SUPW? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that acronym. Can you help me understand what SUPW is, Sharon? I'm happy to answer if I could understand a little better. Social, useful, productive work. Okay, so that sounds like something a little more formal that you might use in your school. What I can surmise from that is that, is this real work? Is a subject in Indian schools where students can choose from a number of vocations. Okay, And okay, your question was, does it involve these things? Okay, so these externships are not going to touch upon those specific skills. Those vocational education can be several things. Sometimes I know in the United States we call those trade schools and trade skills, something that are hands-on, right? So these remote externships, because they're remote, these are doing things that use software, systems, analytical processes, or concepts and theories and research. So generally, these are all things that can, should, and would be done on a computer, whether it's something you learn virtually or the output is something that you can analyze and input into the computer. So they would not necessarily be vocational education activities as you've mentioned it. Where do you find more externship opportunities? So there is, so on our website, you are going to be able to sign up for more updates, and we will share those with you. So on our homepage, on our students tab at the bottom of the website, you'll be able to sign up for more information in those updates, and we'll send them to you whenever we release a new externship. I'm actually getting ready to release a new marketing externship later this week. So you're going to want to make sure that you log on to paragon1.com, and I can put it here in the chat as well. Paragon1.com. If you click on that and go to the students page at the bottom, you'll be able to sign up for updates. And there is, for some of our externships, there are specific start dates. But what we're going to want you to do is whenever I send the follow-up, we'll want you to go ahead and make your financial commitment and select the externship, and then we'll get you started at a time that works best for you. I know some students, they do want to start right away, which is great. We'd love to do that. And there are also times you might want to wait a week or 2 weeks. So that's something that we can work with you on, is the exact start date. But it does depend. So go ahead and reach out to us, and we'll be able to get back to you. Cayenne, thank you so much. I'm glad this was helpful. I think that our externships are not super technical in nature, but I'd love to talk with you a little bit more about what your skills are now and how we might be able to find the right program for you that still provides you a learning opportunity. Are there opportunities for training and learning for pre-university through? So I think what you're asking, Iman, is about who can do these. So no matter whether you're a high school student, a recent graduate, or college student, these externships are available for you, okay? So it doesn't necessarily matter who you are or how old you are. If there's an externship that you'd like to get started with, then we want to help you do that. So I hope to hear from you. When I respond, when I email back, you'll have my information. So I'd love to talk with you about that. And so thank you, Cayenne and Iman. Those are great questions, and really look forward to talking with you all and getting you connected with a remote externship. So we're almost out of time here, but would love to answer any other questions there are. These are great questions. And also I'll just share that a lot of these questions actually are related to the job search. And that is something that you would get more dedicated time with the coaching add-on. So as you're thinking about doing an externship program, I would encourage you to really consider that coaching add-on, because that's 4 hours of dedicated time with a career coach and an experienced advisor who can answer some of these questions for you. Great question. Saraswati has a question here about what if you don't know yet? And there's another question, are they related to innovation and technology? So these are both really good questions. And let me start with Saraswati's question. And so to share with you my experiences in career coaching. So I've worked on a number of colleges and in their career centers. And I'll tell you that what most what most people in colleges, at least in the US, think is that students should actually start college as undeclared and undecided. Too many people pick a major too early, and they think that's what they have to do for the rest of their life. They think that's what they have to do for the next 4 years, and they think that's what they have to do for every year after they graduate. And that's actually not true. What's more important is that you spend this time, and especially your first year, if not more, in college, learning about different fields. You know, if you're a science major, learning about psychology and education, and if you're a business, learning about art. I know I listened to a webinar about the founder of a Marco Polo app. She was a computer science and art major. And she talks about how both of those majors helped her be the best entrepreneur today. So it's okay if you don't know your career. Let's talk about what you're interested in. And let's talk about how we can find the right externship for you. And I think that goes to your question, Sabrine, is absolutely, if you generally know that you're interested in innovation and technology, then we definitely have externships for you, because there are externships about looking into startup companies. That's exactly what the Holland externship was about. We have another really great externship that I love with Rally Cry Ventures, and it's about finding unique companies across the world that they may want to invest in. And it's your job to research them and figure out who they are, what they do, and what makes them successful. And that whole externship is all about innovation and technology. So absolutely, we've got an externship for you. These are very good questions. So excited to see these questions, and it sounds like you're all quite excited. So I really appreciate how you're engaged, and I appreciate your ambition. And there right now are not any free externships. So these are paid services. However, I would encourage you, if you do have other questions, talk to your career counselor or advisor as well, if you have one, or maybe your school administrator, about reaching out to us, because there might be something that we can do through a partnership with your institution. Very good, Sharon. Thank you. I'm glad this was helpful for you. I love working with young people to help them with their career. It's so important to get started right. I had many mentors and coaches in my life, and I still work with them today. They were so important to who I am, and it's important to get those people. So I love giving back. This is how I give back to others. Any final questions about our program? Love to take any other questions if there are any. And before we go, I would love to just share my screen once more and show you the website. So if you go to paragon1.com, under our students tab, you'll see that there are opportunities for you to review. You can see how the process works. each step of the process. There are some testimonials, and then you'll be able to see the different industries that we have externships in. Okay. And then if you want to sign up for more information, I encourage you to come down here to the bottom and get updates on new opportunities, because when you input your email here, we'll collect that and we will post those opportunities directly to you, right? You don't have to wait for another webinar. You can just get them directly to your email. So be sure to do that. And if you have any questions, let me know. What I'd also like to do in the meantime is share my email with you. There we go. So everyone should have my email. If you have any questions, please let me know. So thank you so much for everyone for being here. I'm really excited to connect with you more. I know I got a couple private messages here about students who are looking to, get more coaching and talk a little bit more about their future. And I just can't stress enough how important it is to work with experienced professionals who can help you. And we'd love to be those people who do that for you. So again, thank you so much. I would love for you all to send me an email. Let me know what your questions are, and let me know which program you're interested in most. So a couple of these messages I got are really exciting, and I'd love to talk a little bit more about them as well. So yeah, thank you.